To another edition of the Roundtable. My name is Paul Dingham. I'm going to host this program, which appears on CTV in both Marine City and St. Clair and throughout northern Macomb and all of St. Clair County. We welcome you. As always, we have some very, very interesting guests in this show, and it gives us a little more time to talk to them, take a little extra minute or two and find out what's going on with their project or their event. That is no different today. We are honored to have the owner of the U.S. Coast Guard Bramble, ship the Bramble, Mr. Robert Klingler. Nice to see you.
Welcome, hi, Paul.
Welcome back, or
Thanks
welcome to the Focus program. Nice to see you. And you brought along Benjamin Wilson, who was also on board your crew, I guess I would call it. And you have made a purchase a couple of years ago. We'll get into the exact date in a minute, of a ship that's been around this area for a long time and has a lot of history. And you've got some wonderful plans for its use, and we thought it was very important for the public to hear about it.
We're thrilled to have the ship, to save it. Basically, Paul, like you said, the ship is a time capsule. Mm-hmm. And when we saw it, it was about ready to go down the river, so to speak. It could have been a barge, it could have been recycled scrap iron, but it's been all over the world. Just to start off with a couple things, it was built one of the 39 models. It is number 392. It was in Duluth, and they laid the keel in 1942. 1944, during the war, they went ahead and commissioned it, and it went right off to the North Sea for sea trials. It's been to Greenland. It went over, the ship went to the atomic test at the Marshall Islands, the Bikini Atoll. From there it went to Alaska, and it went through the Northwest Passage, the Arctic Circle. It was one of 3 ships to circumnavigate the North Pole, 1957. And at that point, this ship, the Bramble, is the only remaining ship. The Storis and the Spar no longer exist. One sank and one was scrapped out last year, unfortunately.
You brought along a model of the boat, and if we'll get a tight shot from camera 2 there, talk to me about the length and the width, breadth of the ship.
This model is particularly a gift from our employees, and
really,
it was a treat from last December. To the scale, it gives you the idea. It's about 180 feet long. The ship is about 37 feet wide. Fully loaded, it's about 1,100 tons. Oh. The boom on the front is for buoy tending, and it does sets moorings. And when it was up in the Arctic, it actually did set channel markers to open commerce between the West Coast and the East Coast of the United States. And it was basically done as a war effort to have a way to get around Russia back then.
Let's go back to what we were talking about with history. I think there was a picture taken of when it was christened. Talk to me about that picture.
It was.
Evan will throw that one up.
It was christened number 18 hull, and it was built in Duluth. And back then, everybody worked on ships, men, women, young men, probably not old enough to do so. But they did a Herculean job in World War II. They built the ship in basically a year and a half.
Oh my God!
And in that case, it went right to work. And in the next shot, one of the big stories was that it went to
next one. Go.
It went to the Marshall Islands in '46 after World War II was over. Nagasaki and Hiroshima. The Bramble was actually there setting buoys for the almost 200 ships that were in the test explosion to see how atomic weapons could be used in war on a mass basis. And in the next shot, Paul, we've got one of the shots where it's up in the Arctic Circle. It's way up there trying to find a way to get from basically Alaska all the way over to Labrador.
What size of a crew would it always maintain?
It had 57 basically as a complement. But in that regalia, you can see if you look real hard, there's a 3-inch gun on the gun tub, which is in the aft half. Up high, it had depth charges. It had 20 millimeter bow guns on the right above that W on the front. It was all painted gray. Doesn't look like it does now. It got its stripes in 1967. And in that case, it was gray. It didn't fly the American flag during war. There's a lot of history there. It has been to places other than you can't imagine. It's been to Gitmo.
Oh, really?
It's been to Gitmo. It's been to Greenland, where currently they're having a gold rush in Greenland. It's been all over the world.
Let's see the next one.
So in that case, what we did is the ship was decommissioned in 2003. Atchison Ventures put together with Port Huron Museum an effort to keep the ship pristine, operating condition where it could be brought back in service if the Coast Guard needed it. That went on about 7 years. And at that point, the museum was going to, due to many reasons, they decided to put up for sale. So what we did is we purchased it. We wanted to save history. And this picture right here shows that what we did is a year after we bought it from the Coast Guard itself, we got the ship's bell back.
Oh, boy.
The original bell.
That's important.
Yes, it is. We call that the heart and soul of the ship. And in the old days, that was used to keep time. And
Really?
The time every 4 hours watch, it would ring every half an hour, 1 bell up to 8 bells, and that would be your watch quarters. And that's part of the history that, in reaching out, we've got that in. And one of the places that you can contact us is through many things. We've got the website, Facebook, and Twitter. And Ben, could you tell them a little bit about our website that we built?
We created the website when we took possession of the ship as a portal for the community, for coasties, for followers of the ship, or anyone interested in the ship to contact us. For tours, to book tours online, they can do that. For overnight adventures, which we're going to start in August, where on a Saturday night a Cub Scout group could go and do an overnight adventure and go through a class and get a certification. Through corporate events. Next week we're doing one of our first corporate events on board ship at dinner. Car shows, and just general questions, comments. We get a lot of emails from former coasties who just want to be involved, want to know more about the ship.
Volunteer, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. We got your website up. It's a good-looking website, and there's got to be tons of information.
There's the history of the ship on there. There's the tour times, any special events, the dimensions of the ship, what's on board, what was on board when it was fully operational. Tons of information. Links to get a hold of us if you wanted to do your Cub Scout, if you wanted to do your overnight.
Beautiful.
Adventures. Yeah.
So part of what was key with the website is in the next slide, what you'll see is we've had the old coasties, and we've had at this point, Paul, three.
Oh, look at that!
Three commanders that were previous Commander Banner, and this is Commander Charles Park. Through the website, they made contact, reached out with us, and actually last year, Commander Charles Park, who commanded the Bramble in 78, 79, 80, visited us, stayed with us at the house, and he, when he stepped on board, it was like he never left.
Yeah.
And that was 1980.
Yeah, amazing.
And it was
the ship is still
the winch. You do this and that, turn that breaker, and you pull the hockey puck back, and
she goes.
He was like, "I'm only be for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I don't want to get in your way," and that took 4 hours. And we go, "Oh, I really should go," and he stayed 2 days. So the coastie community with that website contact, that's been a real push for us. Like I say, Commander Banner, who was predecessor to Charles Park, and then Bob Lafine's been in touch with us. In fact, Bob was on us at our last muster, and he was a recent captain under the Atchison program.
Evan, please go back and forth between the pictures and us, all right? Thank you. Come back to us for a second, will you? Thank you. Okay.
So part of what last year was really the breakout year. We had a lot going. We really stepped up the tours, audio visuals. We had the Edmund Fitzgerald sinking. We had the fire in the Saginaw River. Those are self-deploying in different rooms, spaces in the ship. And at that point, we mustered up with Malcolm Marine, and we went down as the next slide shows. Malcolm Marine with their ship Manitou took us down to Detroit. And there's, as you'll see in the next slide, we went all the way down the Detroit River past the Rensen. We had almost 30 of us on the crew, and we went to Nicholson Dock. Okay. As the next slide shows, we moored up there at the Nicholson Dock for an actual event which is coming out next year in film. And we participated in the Michigan film industry's great push to bring business into Michigan.
In that last shot was the two Boblo boats, too.
Those were the Boblo boats, St. Clair and Columbia. Yeah. And if you go down there right now, there's only one left, because one steamed off at the end of the summer, went down, looked at in Toledo, got a hull inspection, and went east. So
are they going to be used as a vessel again?
They are.
Wow.
One sold and went east. So.
Okay. All right. So they went down to Detroit, and then you passed the Boblo boats, and then talk to me, Benjamin, about your Facebook.
Facebook was just another avenue for us to communicate to the people who are interested in the Bramble. We kind of look at it as our scrapbook of the ship, whether it's an engine startup or a flag being flown on board ships. Anything that's relevant to us that we think people will find interesting, we post online very regularly. So there's always videos, there's always pictures of what's happening every day. It really is it's a scrapbook of what's going on a daily basis on the ship. We're always taking video of guys working down in the engine room or up on the bridge.
What is the Facebook address?
It's USCGC Bramble, WLB 392.
Okay. It's a long one, but
if you do USCGC Bramble, it'll be one of 3. If you do 392, it'll pop right up. Okay. It's pretty. It pops right up, and we're on it continually. And it's been another great way to bring people from all over who are interested in it. They're always posting comments, they're always asking questions, and it's kind of a give and take between the people who are on board the Bramble and the people who aren't there but are really interested in it. So it's been a great resource.
Before you were able to get it underway, did you have to do some engine work?
We've been working pretty much and if you go on our Facebook, you'll see our comments. We've been posting videos of what engines we've started up, and there's 6 engines on board.
Really?
2 main engines, but 2 generators and 2 other diesel engines. Over this last 2.5 years, we've been starting all that up. In the winter, we keep it warm so it never gets cold. It's all on the Facebook as far as the videos go. And as of last Saturday, we started and did a propulsion test. Tied up to the Seaway terminal, we did a
we'll put that slide up.
We did a 10 RPM test.
There you go.
And that's the crew basically that got it all going, and we had what we call the engine room people, the MKs, the EKs in the motor room, and then the quartermaster's crew up there, and we got it going. We ran successfully passed all of our Coast Guard tests. So
but that was at the dock.
That was at the dock, and we did that for 30 minutes.
Wow.
We tested all our systems, and that's upcoming. The next thing that's going to be moving in that direction as far as the ship goes is sea trials, and that's going to be June 20. But in the meantime, there's a number of events that are going to happen, and even just next week we have a catered VIP. We have the memorial service. the wreath ceremony, which is our 3rd year that we've done this, where we have speakers, we have a wreath that we throw over, we have a rifle squad.
Beautiful.
We have the guests throw a carnation over the water for memories of their loved ones. Those type of things are, the Coast Guard community is very tight.
Right.
Very tight. We have a gentleman that drives from Illinois just to be mustered up on our monthly crew. You can't stop him from coming over, God bless his soul. And in that case, all this is happening, part of our alarm clock, if you will, is Ben's Twitter account. So tell him what you're going to Twitter, Ben.
Twitter, we're going to tweet everything that's relevant to the ship that's coming up, whether it is the memorial on Friday or whether it's the VIP event or something that has special tickets available. We're always going to be tweeting that out live. It coincides with the Facebook and the web page, but it's more of a, here it is right now, here's what's happening, live, continually updating.
And what's his Twitter address?
It's the same. It's at USCGC Bramble. So very, very simple to follow. We like Twitter too. It connects us with not just the local community, but the community at large, going national in terms of the Coast Guard Auxiliary follows us, Coast Guard Live. There's a lot of Coast Guard accounts that follow us. A lot of news organizations will follow us. So if there is a big event, we'll tweet it out, let them know, then they can pass it on to their followers. So it's a good
So we
connection.
kind of hope, in that sense, Paul, you can put your Mickey Mouse alarm clock in the drawer and just get tweeted. And for one of the things like tourists in your town on June 6th, Bramble's included in the tourist in your town, and it's the first stop on the Southern Trolley. But we'll tweet you. You won't need an alarm clock for that.
There's an event coming up the 20th, though, you wanted to talk about. It's going to be a nice, pretty nice ceremony.
It will be the 22nd. And
22nd.
And that is a memorial service.
Okay.
Yes. And if you have a chance, the public's invited. Anybody is invited to come on board, no charge, and it's a very moving service.
Well, how did you decide that you wanted to get into owning a Coast Guard boat? A childhood dream?
No, we talked for probably a year, my wife and I, Sarah, and we decided that there's no way that we're going to let something with this much rich history leave Port Huron, let alone possibly get cut up and made into
But you yourself were not a Coast Guard person.
I was in the Coast Guard auxiliary courses.
Oh, you were? Okay.
I was.
Okay.
And I love boats. I love the big river. I grew up around here. I moved away to the Chicago area, built some nuclear plants, and the big river gets to you. Once it's in your blood, you want to come back, and this is the epitome here of making the right things happen, is to keep that ship there. Has been all over the world.
Well, you certainly have the passion for it and the ideas to make it work, and we're just so glad that you're here.
Well, I'm glad that we could spend some time with you and share our excitement, and we invite everybody to join us and feel that passion of history.
Give us the website, the Facebook, and the Twitter again, all those addresses, and we'll...
Website's uscgcbramble.com, Facebook's USCGC Bramble WLB 392, and Twitter, where you really can find the new things that are coming out. Just to name a few, the sea trials, as Bob referenced, but also the USS Mackinac Milwaukee commissioning will be happening later this year. And then the big film debut, which we referenced on, will be March 16, which should be a pretty big movie we're pretty excited about. So, and that is at USCGC Bramble. So those are the best three ways to find out what's going on aboard ship.
Mr. Benjamin Wilson, nice to
Thanks
see you, sir.
Thank you,
Mr.
Paul.
Robert Klingler,
we
nice
really
to see
appreciate
you.
it.
And certainly you have all the information you know so far, to get aboard the Bramble. So come on, make sure that you get to the Bramble if you haven't been aboard as a Coast Guardee or Coast Guard. How do they pronounce it?
Coastie.
Coastie. If you haven't been a Coastie yourself, now is your opportunity to get aboard and experience the wonderful ship and hear all about the history. That's about it for this edition of the Roundtable. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingaman. See you soon.